A few days ago, David Lynch passed away, a director with a unique style that left an indelible mark on cinema with an aesthetic and narrative so distinctive that they gave rise to the term Lynchian to describe them. He is one of my favorite directors of all time and one of the most influential figures in film history. So today, on CinePrime, we pay tribute to David Lynch. David Lynch's Dune is a failed adaptation that faced numerous production problems, including a complicated script, budget constraints, and a story too extensive to fit into a single film. Lynch, who was hired to direct it under great expectations, struggled with interference from producers who cut and altered significant parts of the movie. The result was an incoherent work that failed to capture the essence of the book. Lynch himself has been highly critical of the film, describing it as a frustrating experience. Moreover, Dune is considered the least Lynchian of his works due to the creative limitations imposed on the director. Despite these issues, Dune has gained a cult following, appreciated for its visual aesthetics and the performances of its cast. However, it remains a prime example of what can go wrong when adapting a complex work with limited resources and time.
After she said Lulu's
Wild at Heart is an intense and wild journey, showcasing the unmistakable style of David Lynch. The film, based on Barry Gifford's novel, blends romance, road movie elements, and surrealism in a doomed love story between Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern. Both characters flee from a world riddled with violence, obsessions, and eccentric characters that embody the best and most unsettling aspects of Lynch's universe. Winner of the Palme d'Or at Cannes, the film stirred controversy due to its explicit violence and visceral tone. Lynch combines a chaotic narrative with references to The Wizard of Oz, creating a stark contrast between innocence and the grotesque. While it's not his most balanced work, Wild at Heart stands out for its performances, powerful aesthetics, and its ability to explore the dark side of love and desire. It's an electrifying film, though it doesn't quite reach the perfection of Lynch's most iconic works. Inland Empire, the most enigmatic and experimental film by David Lynch, is an unparalleled cinematic journey. I included a clip of some rabbits at the beginning because it amused me, though the movie isn't about them. I don't think anyone truly knows what the rabbits are doing in that scene. Filmed entirely with low-resolution digital cameras, Lynch pushes his surrealist style to the extreme in this labyrinthine work that challenges conventional narrative cinema. The story follows Nikki Grace, an actress who begins to lose her grip on reality while working on a film that seems to be cursed. The movie offers no clear answers, instead plunging the viewer into a 3-hour odyssey filled with unsettling imagery, time jumps, and baffling symbolism. It's undoubtedly not an easy watch and may be unbearable for some. However, if you go in with the right mindset and have an appreciation for surrealism and visually disturbing art, Inland Empire offers a truly unique and unforgettable experience. The Straight Story is, in many ways, the most atypical film by David Lynch. Based on true events, it tells the heartfelt and simple story of Alvin Straight, masterfully portrayed by Richard Farnsworth, an elderly man who decides to travel hundreds of miles on a lawnmower to reconcile with his ailing brother. In contrast to the dark and surreal worlds Lynch often explores, this film stands out for its warmth, humanity, and linear narrative. However, beneath its apparent simplicity, A Straight Story retains the Lynchian touch in its melancholic atmosphere, the eccentric characters Alvin encounters on his journey, and the profound exploration of themes like family, regret, and redemption. The film is quite slow, and very little actually happens, so it's best approached with an open mind. Eraserhead is David Lynch's debut feature, and one of the most bewildering and original films in cinema history. This cult classic, filmed over several years on a shoestring budget, immerses us in a nightmarish world that combines horror, surrealism, and an oppressive atmosphere. The story follows Henry Spencer, a man trapped in a bleak industrial environment, grappling with fatherhood after the birth of his child, a deformed and unsettling creature. The film is more of a sensory experience than a narrative one, with a disturbing sound design and black and white cinematography that enhances its claustrophobic tone. Eraserhead explores themes such as fear of responsibility, alienation, and subconscious tensions. With this film, Lynch showcased his ability to create unique and profoundly unsettling worlds. It is a movie that defies any rational explanation, designed to shock, discomfort, and leave a lasting impression on those who dare to dive into it. The Elephant Man, one of the most beautiful and heartbreaking films ever made. I was fortunate enough to see this masterpiece in the theater, and it's impossible not to be moved by it. Based on the real-life story of Joseph Merrick, called John in the film, a 19th century British man with severe physical deformities, Merrick is masterfully portrayed by John Hurt. He is treated as a sideshow freak until a compassionate doctor, Frederick Treves, discovers him and seeks to give him a more dignified life. Shot in elegant black and white, this film deeply explores themes such as human dignity, compassion, and prejudice. Though less surreal than other Lynch works, The Elephant Man retains his unique touch in the unsettling industrial atmospheres and deep emotional nuances. The film doesn't rely on cheap tricks to elicit emotions. It achieves this with complete naturalness through a very human and touching story. This is one of the best works to begin watching Lynch, as it is highly accessible. Highly recommended for everyone. Lost Highway is one of the most enigmatic and dark works of David Lynch, a psychological thriller that challenges traditional narrative norms. The film follows Fred Madison, a musician who begins to receive mysterious tapes in which he appears with his wife inside their own house. As he watches the tapes, things start to get more and more disturbing. This movie is brutal, honestly. By the end, you don't really understand anything, but it's an impactful and captivating experience that creates an incredible aesthetic. The film explores recurring themes in Lynch's cinema, such as fragmented identity, guilt, and the boundaries between reality and the subconscious. Lost Highway is a hypnotic experience that combines psychological horror with the surrealism characteristic of Lynch. Filled with symbolism and unsolved mysteries, this film is a dive into the darkest corners of the mind and an essential piece to understanding Lynch's legacy as a master of the inexplicable. Blue Velvet is the work that solidified David Lynch as a master of surreal and provocative cinema. The film starts with an idyllic image of a residential neighborhood in the United States, but soon it plunges into the darker, more disturbing layers of society. Jeffrey Beaumont, a curious young man, finds a human ear in a field, which leads him to discover an unsettling underground world ruled by the psychotic Frank Booth. Lynch uses the contrast between the pristine surface of a peaceful town and the dark secrets hidden beneath it to explore themes such as perversion, lost innocence, and desire. Dennis Hopper's performance as Frank is one of the most terrifying and memorable in film history, while Isabella Rossellini brings heartbreaking vulnerability as Dorothy Valens, the woman caught in the midst of this chaos. The film leaves you with a profound feeling of having lived through a terrible nightmare, and few works manage to evoke such strong and immersive emotions. The absolute masterpiece of David Lynch, the best film of the 21st century according to the BBC, and one of the best in the history of cinema. When I saw this film, it immediately became one of my all-time favorite movies. It doesn't matter if you don't understand it, the quality lies in the emotions it generates, through its characters, music, atmosphere, and abstract plot. Lynch transformed this material into a unique cinematic experience, blending dreams and reality into a storyline that defies linear interpretations. The story follows Betty, an aspiring actress full of hope who arrives in Hollywood and crosses paths with an amnesiac woman known as Rita. Together, they try to unravel a mystery that slowly turns into a psychological nightmare filled with symbols and unsettling twists. With Naomi Watts' masterful performance, for me, one of the best performances of all time. Mulholland Drive explores themes like failure, desire, and the duality of the American dream. It's a film that rewards deep analysis and, like all great art, can be interpreted in many ways. Mulholland Drive is a journey into the heart of dreams, nightmares, and the very nature of cinema. Fascinating, disturbing, and profoundly emotional. Lynch wasn't just a great director, but also an admirable person with a huge heart. All the actors who've worked with him speak highly of him. Many have left emotional messages in memory of Lynch, such as Naomi Watts, Justin Theroux, Laura Herring, and Kyle MacLachlan. Thank you for everything, David Lynch. This video is dedicated not only to your work, but also to you as a person. Rest in peace.